We're on the rooftop of City Hall South, our partner in community policing. Join Chief Charlie Beck for a conversation regarding the Chief's message for the month of August 2014. Just recently, on July 19th, CompStat statistics were released, and once again we have a dramatic reduction in Part 1 crime.
Well, we're working on a reduction, Jack, and you know, Part 1 crime fluctuates, and everybody has to realize that. It's better to look at it over a long period of time than a short period of time. But year to date, we do have a reduction in total Part 1 crime, just about 5%, which is really good, and that's due to the hard work of the men and women of the Los Angeles Police Department. But we are seeing an increase in a couple of different crime categories, and one of them is aggravated assaults. And that is largely fueled by an increase in domestic violence incidents that are classified as aggravated assaults. So, you know, we need to look at that. We have certain divisions that are struggling with some violent crime issues, and we need to look at that. And everybody has to recognize that, you know, this is not easy. You know, that crime reductions come hard. They take hard work, they take good analysis, and they take good response. So we have to continue to do that.
When you're talking about domestic violence, a lot of those, as you well know as a police officer, occur inside. Are a lot of these reporting issues that maybe we're doing a better job and we're getting more reports?
Well, you know, I hope that's true. I hope we are doing a better job and getting more reports and people are more confident coming forward and all of that. You know, but we can affect domestic violence. Now, it's not as direct an effect as the way we impact gang violence, but we can impact domestic violence by doing a good job when we go to family dispute calls, by making sure that victims get some kind of remedial follow-up treatment from care providers. You know, our DART program, things like that. There are a lot of things the department can do to affect domestic violence. We're doing a great job on gang crime, and we have for a number of years. Actually, over the last 5 years, men and women of this department have cut gang crime in half. And you know, that's not just a number. That's people's lives. That's young people that are not sucked into the gang lifestyle and that have an opportunity to grow up in a way that all of us would want our kids to grow up, because we're impacting gang crime and gang violent crime. Still got a lot to do. You know, there's still a lot of gangsters out there. There's still a lot of violence out there, and we need to impact that as a department. But we're doing it smart. We're not just doing it through enforcement strategies. We're doing it through our four-pronged approach, and I'm very proud of the men and women of the Los Angeles Police Department for what we've done on this.
So, you know what, to piggyback on those statistics, we actually look at the shooting calls and the uses of force by officers, and a lot of that gang activity, they're actually related to that, are they not?
Oh, absolutely. You know, we look at all our shooting calls, how many shooting victims we have, you know, and all those numbers are, you know, those are real numbers. Those are people's lives are impacted, and shooting victims down significantly in the city this year. Homicide victims down significantly. Now, you know, we're only halfway in the year, and all these numbers can fluctuate. But, you know, I know this department can continue to impact crime, and I know that we will.
Well, let me ask you one question that's actually a national issue. It's the cell phone kill bill. Are you familiar with what we're doing?
No, absolutely, and I supported that bill. You know, I think that what we want to do is not make technology an easy target. You know, cell phones are without kill technology are easily sold on the black market, you know, for a significant amount of money. And that makes them targets for crime. So, you know, why not change technology so that if a cell phone is stolen, that we can make it so that it's not available for reprogramming. And that's, you know, that just makes sense. And I know it's going to cost the providers a little bit of money, but you know what? If it saves one life, because these phones are the target of violent crime, if it saves one life, certainly worth it.
So any advice for cops as keep continuing?
You know, take care of each other. This is a tough job. You know, we've affected violent crime, you know, and that makes all of us safer. But all of you are at risk, and you have to pay attention to what you're doing. You have to pay attention to your surroundings. And most importantly, you have to watch each other's back.
Coming up in August, the first Tuesday is National Night Out, and this is a program that's been going on for well over a couple of decades. How important is this to our community policing plans?
You know, it's one big piece of our community policing outreach. You know, everything we do that interacts with the community, everything you do that makes a contact, everything that you do that builds the confidence of the Los Angeles Police Department is very important. And National Night Out is just one of these things. And I'll be at a couple of divisions for National Night Out. I look forward to it.
How about the safe summer tip-off game between the fire department and LAPD?
You know, we had a great time. Great outpouring of young people came out to Galen Center to watch the fire department, the police department play. It was a great game. Police department won, as we have in every year prior. You know, the fire department has a good team, and so do we. And of course, I'm very, very proud of our team. You know, all of our sports teams. You know, whether it's our basketball team, whether it's our Baker to Vegas teams. You know, I couldn't be prouder of the men and women of Los Angeles Police Department and the effort they put forth, not only to stay in shape, but to compete.
We had some interesting results in San Diego with the police and fire championships.
We did very well. You know, our soccer team won the gold. You know, our basketball team placed first and third. Pretty impressive, and a lot of folks did very well. You know, I competed in motocross, as I always do. We had a huge turnout from LAPD in that event, just like we do in many others. You know, LAPD is by far the most involved agency in the state in those games.
I know that you can't talk specifics, but as you know, at this period, we're in negotiation for our labor contract.
Yes, we are, and you know, it is my goal to get the Los Angeles Police Department and the police officers that make it up the things that they need to do their jobs. You know, it's very important to me that we be able to pay overtime when overtime is worked and not have to give folks time off. You know, that is a thing that worked for us in the short term because of the economic crisis, but we can't keep doing that. So we are paying cash overtime right now, and I intend on continuing to do that. You know, the other thing I want to do is to make sure that police officers get paid appropriately, you know, and so the first step in that is affect the so-called 20%ers, those that were hired after 2010. And we're going to work with the union, we're going to work with the city, and we're going to find a solution to this. You know, we're going to make those officers able to meet their economic needs. You know, that's very important to me. Very, not only important for the department, but for those individual cops themselves. You know, it's not just about retention of officers. It's not just about recruitment. It's also a morale issue. So we're going to do that, and we're going to push forward on that, and you should see that coming to fruition in the near future. You know, the other pieces, the pay raises and that, you know, and I encourage the city and the union to go back to the table. And they're doing that, and we'll try to work something out that's agreeable on both sides. But everybody's got to remember, you know, it's not the value of police officers, it's what the city's able to pay. You know, you are the best cops in the world. I've said that many times, and I'll say it, you know, till the day I die. And you should be compensated for that. But the city can only do what it can do. Men and women of the Los Angeles Police Department, you're doing a great job. Couldn't be prouder of you. Couldn't be prouder of the efforts that you make and your professionalism. You know, we're going through some tough times right now, and I think it's important to remember that we have to take care of each other. We have to respect each other. We have to be professional to the public. That's what makes us a great organization, and that's what will continue to make us great. Thanks for what you do.